Hey everybody, Andrew Fantasia here, and guess what? Those crazy kids over at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences are up to their old mischief. What have they dropped on our plate now? Let's find out. Here we go. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Welcome to Thumb Together. Today I want to talk about this Oscar news with you all together. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, who is the academy behind the Oscar telecast and all that jazz, they have dropped a little message for us yesterday. I wanted to cover it here and get everybody's thoughts and feelings. Get my thoughts and feelings because I've gone on record many a time. I used to like watching the Oscars about 12 years ago, and then I reached a point where I'm like, wait a minute, you know what's bullshit? This. And I stopped. I've made it abundantly clear that I am not a fan of the Academy Awards. And apparently a few other people shared my lack of enthusiasm because the Academy is trying to put some changes in motion. The first and smallest bit of news is that John Bailey has in fact been re-elected for another one-year term as president of the Academy. Big whoop, right? Yay. John Bailey, your bank account just got slightly larger for another year. All right, but that's not why we're here. We're here because of the very big changes that the Academy says they want to put into place. One of their main concerns is that apparently the Oscar telecast is a wee bit too long. People have been complaining that 3.5 to 4 hours is too long to watch a bunch of rich people congratulate each other with gold statues. Now, I'm not really the kind of person who complains about length. I mean, if you know my taste in movies, I like long movies, so I don't mind a 4-hour Oscar telecast. I'm in the minority on that one. A lot of people would prefer it was shorter, and they're trying to rectify that by cutting a few corners. Unfortunately, I don't think they're cutting the right ones. According to the statement they made, the Academy wants, quote, more accessible Oscars for our viewers worldwide. What does this mean? It sounds like they're going to take a few select categories that may not be the most glamorous, sexy categories. Sound editing, I'm looking in your direction. And they're moving those categories to the Dolby Theater, which will be also broadcast live during the commercial breaks. I'm assuming on a different network, and then those will be telecast on the same network later on in the evening. This is not the right way to go about doing this. It's, again, what do I know, right? Who am I? I'm just some Canadian dude in a friggin' basement. But sound editing and makeup and sound mixing, sure. They're not sexy. They're not glamorous. But you know what? Those people work friggin' hard. Give them the spotlight. Show them off to the world. Show them, look what these people did. Look at the hard work they put into it. They made the movie watchable, okay? Angelina Jolie's lips going like this on the camera did not make the movie watchable. Those guys and girls editing sound and making props and making costumes, they made the movie watchable. Give them a little bit of spotlight, for crying out loud. Instead, they're going to delegate that to a secondary ceremony in an entirely different theater, broadcast on an entirely different time slot. This just sounds very, very bad. I'm sure if you ask anybody who watches at home, what could they cut from the Oscar telecast to, slim down that running time? There is, I'm pretty sure, a correct answer to this question. And that answer is those goddamn songs. Yeah, okay, have a category for songs, but you know what? You don't have to play us the whole song. You don't have to set up a orchestra pit and have Celine Dion stand on a podium in like a giant flowery Cirque du Soleil dress and have a bunch of people go like this behind her while she sings a 4.5-minute song about how this person and that person fell in love. We don't need that. You don't show us the whole movie when you're telling us who's nominated for Best Picture. We don't sit there for 3 hours and watch The Wolf of Wall Street and say, okay, so that's one of the nominees. No, we did the work ourselves and watched The Wolf of Wall Street on our own time. The same should go for the songs. If we really, really want to know what songs are nominated for Best Original Song, then yeah, you know what? We'll do that work and we'll go out and spend 3 minutes, 4 minutes and listen to that song elsewhere. You can save money and time by not showing the songs. I can't make it any simpler than that. But no, those songs are really necessary. So let's take all these hardworking folks who do some of the less glamorous pieces of work on the movies and just shift them off to another theater because we're the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. We don't have time for arts and sciences. You can even cut down that opening comedy monologue, guys. I mean, yeah, Steve Martin and Billy Crystal are funny people, but again, I can just watch a Steve Martin and Billy Crystal movie. I don't need them to stand there for 10 minutes and talk about recent events. Then there's the Big Papa, the giant Oscar-shaped elephant in the room that the Academy dropped into our laps when they broke this news, and that is a new category of Oscar. And this category is called, and this is not a joke, I'm not pulling this from some Onion article, this is the real deal, Outstanding Achievement in a Popular Film. Once again, I need to reiterate this to you. I'm not joking. I guess at some point the Academy sat around and said to themselves, you know what, we're showering awards on movies like Moonlight and The Artist, where, you know, maybe 18 people total have seen them before this Oscar telecast. Maybe we should, you know, call attention to one of those Infinity War things that all the kids are talking about. So they went and made a category just for it, as if to say, look, you know, these popular movies are never going to win Best Picture, so let's just give them their own thing. It's like the trophy just for participating. It's like when I was in Little League T-ball when I was 7 years old, and my trophy said most enthusiastic player, because clearly I wasn't hitting home runs. You know what this reminds me of? You know, like in a movie where you see like an old person, like a grandma or a grandpa, like a really old white person, and they put on a backwards baseball cap and sunglasses, and they're like, yo, kids, I'm hip to today's scene. I like apps too. That's what this reminds me of. This looks like the Academy reading the room in terms of what the movie-going populace is watching and saying, well, nobody's looking at our kind of movies. Let's put on these Ray-Ban shades and try to get down to their level. Hello there, movie fans. My favorite film of the year was the box office smash hit Black Panther. It really spoke to me, yes. Quite, yes. You know, I will say this. I am so goddamn curious about what outstanding achievement in a popular film could possibly mean, about how they even begin to find nominations for that category. That now, for the first time in 12 years, I'm actually curious to tune into an Oscar telecast. So maybe they did their job. This is baffling. This is absolutely baffling. And it's hilarious. It's not even a problem. Like, at the end of the day, this does not matter at all. You know, nobody cares. But it's just so funny for film people to sort of sit there and watch this table full of rich grandmas and grandpas try to crouch down on their creaky old knees and get down to our level and say, I think Godzilla films are radical too. It's kind of adorable. It's kind of adorable. For the past decade, what I've done is, you know, usually somebody in the house or wherever I am, somebody's watching the Oscars and I just happen to be around. The only thing I've ever tuned in for during all those years of Oscars was the in memoriam montage. I like to watch those. I think they're a nice, sweet little, you know, send off to people in the industry who have passed on. So I always make it a point to watch the in memoriams. Come this next March or whenever, when these Oscars hit the airwaves again, I'm going to watch the memoriam, but I'm also going to keep my eye open for outstanding achievement in a popular film. And you know what? I urge you all to do the same. Even if you could not be bothered with the Oscars, I get it. You got better things to do with your time. But if you're free that night and you're home and, nothing else is good on TV, and let's face it, nothing will be, do yourself a favor, entertain yourself for like 5 minutes and just switch to the Oscars when that category is about to be announced and presented. Because we have a rare opportunity here. We have a giant-sized, enormous budget version of the Rapping Granny. And I don't think we should miss that. It's like a solar eclipse. Like, we need to tune in and stop what we're doing and just be like, how is this going to end? But that is the news that came out of the Academy Awards. It was a good laugh. I'm telling you, it was a very good laugh. Thank you, Kemi. That was a lot of fun. What do you guys think of this? Again, I poke fun, but this is just a silly thing. It's not anything. It's not a big deal. I don't care about the Oscars at the end of the day. I'm not mad about this. I'm not, trying to get on a soapbox and make a point. I just think it's a very funny story about what, at the end of the day, amounts to a very frivolous, meaningless, back-patting ceremony. So tell me what you think of this Oscar news. Leave it in the comments. Let me know. This has been Thumb Together. My name is Andrew Fantasia. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. If you do, I'll rap for you. I'll see you here next time, and until then, adios.